Welcome back for this session on partnerships. As mentioned many times during the summit, we are able to achieve the best outcome for homeowners when we work in partnership and collaboration. First, let's watch a video created by and about our Homeowner Hub.
Our Homeowner Hub is a sophisticated, dynamic, multimedia, multilingual knowledge center that holistically assists homeowners through inbound and outbound calls and website inquiries. We also assess and triage homeowner needs, refer homeowners to appropriate resources, partners, and programs, and where appropriate, manage the homeowner experience throughout the duration of a program. The Hub offers bilingual access for homeowners via web forms and our HOP hotline, in addition to other homeowner hotlines.
Our associates are skilled in handling difficult conversations and are knowledgeable about a wide range of tenant and homeowner issues, recognizing the crucial importance of a homeowner's experiences throughout their journey from expression of interest to completed counseling, and work on a wide array of projects to continually improve their experience with us.
We assist homeowners throughout New York City and New York State to get connected to housing counseling and legal service agencies in their communities to address their housing needs. We also provide case management on programs like HomeFix to guide homeowners through the application process and answer any questions they may have.
So we offer a wide array of referral services, including pre-purchase counseling, financial counseling, and estate planning counseling. Homeowners are referred to housing counseling organizations or legal service advocates depending on their needs. Our most popular referral services includes foreclosure prevention, where a homeowner is directed to a housing counseling organization if they are at risk of foreclosure, and foreclosure counseling, where a homeowner is directed to a legal service organization if they have received a notice of foreclosure and need legal representation. In more recent months, we have seen an increase in referrals for rehab/repair services for homeowners.
The client will call in through any of our hotline numbers. From there, one of our program associates will answer the call and conduct a brief intake so they can assess the client's needs to best assist them. Once we know a little bit about the client's situation, we will refer them to an organization in their area. On average, we receive over 1,100 calls a month across all our hotlines.
Now, what kind of programs do we work with? We work with a variety of programs, including HomeFix, the Homeowners Assistance Fund, Give Us Credit, and the Black Homeownership Project.
The Homeowner Hub can assist homeowners with Spanish and Arabic language needs. The Hub also uses a third-party service called Language Line, which is a translation service that allows us to communicate with homeowners who have other language needs.
Homeowners can get in touch with us using the Attorney General's Homeowner Protection Program's number, 1-855-HOME-456, or the CNYCN number, 646-786-0888. Homeowners can also get in contact with us by filling out a form on the homeownerhelpny.org website.
I could not be more proud of the Hub, the team I'm lucky enough to lead at the center. As you can see, we all bring our assets to bear when we're working to help homeowners across New York. And now we turn our attention to a program the Hub was thrilled to support over the past couple of years, Protect Our Homes, a collaboration between the center, the Office of the Attorney General, HPD, and multiple network partners. I'll turn the mic over to Kerri White from the Office of the Attorney General and Tamara Del Carmen from Brooklyn Legal Services A.
Great, thank you, Dakari. Really appreciate that intro and the video from the Hub. To start, my name is Kerri White. I'm the Special Assistant for Housing and Community Development. Tamara, do you want to introduce yourself before we jump into it?
Sure, thank you, Kerri. My name is Tamara Del Carmen, and I'm the Director of the Consumer and Economic Advocacy Program with Brooklyn Legal Services Corporation A. Brooklyn A has been providing legal services in New York City for over 50 years, and we are a network partner with the Protect Our Homes initiative, as well as a part of the Homeowner Protection Program. And under Brooklyn A's Consumer Economic Advocacy Program, we provide legal services to homeowners facing foreclosure and provide representation in the state, federal, and federal bankruptcy courts. And we also provide representation to taxpayers who have IRS and New York State tax issues. Thank you. I'm passing it back to you, Kerri.
Great, thank you, Tamara. So before we get into the specifics on the Protect Our Homes program, I want to take a brief moment to thank HOP. For those of you who are not aware, and I know there's many HOP partners in this session, but for those of you who aren't aware, this is the 10th year of HOP, 2022, and it's been such a great initiative, and so much of our work wouldn't be possible without HOP, including this Protect Our Homes program. So, and Protect Our Homes, the actual inspiration for this program started in the beginning of 2020. Many of you might have been there in early January when the Attorney General decided to host a door knocking day throughout Brooklyn, where we had over 250 volunteers knock on 3,500 doors. I really appreciate all of the folks who were there that day to let homeowners know about scams and what they could do to best protect their homes. Shortly after this event, the Attorney General's office was in conversations with HPD and the Center for New York City Neighborhoods, talking about how we could be better at systematically letting homeowners know what they should be doing around scams, how they could best protect themselves, and how we can let homeowners know that there are very good groups in their communities that can answer questions when they have concerns about their homes, so that they don't fall victim to scammers who just show up at their door promising to get them out of trouble, when we know that often those promises don't lead to anywhere good. So, you know, the program included 10 very important partner organizations that were based in communities where we felt there were high numbers of vulnerable populations. So homeowners that were had owned their homes for a long time in neighborhoods where we felt like scammers might target, where people might think that there would be a high value in turning people out of their homes. We really wanted to get to these homeowners and let them know there are ways to put barriers around your home and where you should go when you have questions. You know, initially we had thought we would go off of the initial Protect Our Homes plan door knocking day, and we expected there to be a lot of door-to-door, face-to-face interaction. That obviously changed in 2022. So we really had to pivot around how this program would engage homeowners, what would be the best way to touch base with those homeowners, and what should our metrics for success be in a new era of how to engage folks. So luckily we had, you know, very good partner organizations who were creative. And we also had HPD and the Attorney General's office who we all brought things to the table. You know, our folks at the Attorney General's office who do research and analytics provided some data on homeowners we thought were at risk of scams. HPD was instrumental in helping us advertise the program and thinking of new ways to get information out there to homeowners in these communities. The neighborhood-based groups really worked hard to figure out how they could work in their borough collectives to figure out how could we better reach homeowners during this troubled time. So I could continue to go on, and we will share some statistics of this program with you. But first, Tamara, since you were a partner organization, I'd love to hear from you how you thought the program went, and what you think the successes were.
Sure. Thanks, Kerri. So, you know, I think that the program, the Protect Our Homes initiative, really came about at such a crucial time. You know, pre-COVID, there was already an increase of deed thefts and scams in communities throughout New York City, particularly in Brooklyn, Queens, and the Bronx. And so many homeowners, you know, lost their job or their income was drastically reduced because of the pandemic, putting them at an even higher risk of default on their mortgages, as well as for scams and deed thefts, that coming together to do this initiative really gave a wealth of information to the homeowners on how to protect themselves and to save their homes. So the program was put together very quickly, but it all came together because of the strong partnerships between the Office of the Attorney General, the Center, HPD, and the community network partners. You know, everyone working together in collaboration was key, especially as you said, Kerri, it was extremely challenging to conduct outreach during the pandemic. So for example, you know, we conducted virtual webinars, workshops to raise awareness of issues, including deed theft, foreclosure, property tax abatements, and other services that are offered by legal services and housing counselors that are part of HOP. We also did mailings, and the focus was not only to reach out to homeowners, but to homeowners' family members and friends and neighbors. When, you know, our organization, Brooklyn A, we provide services in Queens and Brooklyn, and we partnered with our fellow neighborhood service providers. So in Brooklyn, it was with NHS Brooklyn and Brooklyn Neighborhood Services. And in Queens, we established the Queens Coalition, which included Brooklyn A, JASA, NHS Jamaica, and the Legal Aid Society. So it really allowed our organizations to pool our collective expertise and resources to provide outreach and assistance to a greater number of homeowners. And by teaming up with the other organizations, this information was also better relayed to the communities. So through this process, you know, this allowed us to reach so many homeowners and residents, and it also helped all of our organizations, you know, promote the free legal services that are available and general housing services that are available for those homeowners that are in need.
I agree with you, Tamara, on the point of this program being just a good timing for this program. Obviously, we probably could have been doing this type of work for a very long time, but I think particularly with the pandemic, we knew scams were coming up. We knew that, you know, in moments of crisis and confusion, people are more likely to get scammed. And so I think, you know, knowing that COVID was going to happen, it was very fortuitous that we had this program in place, and knowing that through COVID that there might be, you know, relief programs that people would take advantage of. And, you know, frankly, you know, even not COVID, I believe, but I think that's during the storm Irma, you all at Legal Services Aid caught some scams through this work, correct? And I think, you know, having this framework in place when that crisis hit allowed, you know, you all to see what people were doing on the ground and respond to it. So, if you don't mind, if you want to talk a little bit about the Irma and the scams that kind of came through that moment and how you worked with partners during that, it'd be great.
I mean, it was really important for the network partner organizations to kind of band together and to see what issues were directly affecting the communities. And with the increase of scams, I mean, we saw more homeowners just signing away their deeds to third-party actors, not knowing what was happening. And we saw like an increase in very targeted areas. So the most important thing that everyone wanted to do was to bring awareness to these issues to protect homeowners sooner than later, because once a case gets to you after the deed has been signed over to a third party, it's much harder for a homeowner to get their home back. So placing, you know, these steps and putting these steps in place have really allowed homeowners to protect their greatest asset, which is their home, which, you know, they've establish their roots and keeping the communities thriving. So we definitely want to continue that and continue working with each other, because not only do we talk about like what we're seeing on the ground, but we also work together on the best way to combat and defend homeowners when they are in these situations.
I agree. I think the biggest challenge around deed theft, and you know, we've been talking about deed theft for years. Ever since I started at the Attorney General's office, this has been a major problem that people have brought up, and there's always these questions on how do we solve this issue. And I think, you know, like you said, the biggest problem here is that, you know, the best solution is getting in front of it. Once a homeowner's been scammed, the quagmire of getting out of that is extremely difficult. And, you know, I do think there are policy solutions. I think we could create maybe better laws and have some better protections for homeowners, but it's still not going to resolve that issue that, you know, if a homeowner signs a paper that they don't realize is their deed, or they think they're signing this and it's going to help them out of foreclosure, once they've done that, getting out of that is a multi-year process if they even realize what's happened. And I think when we read these stories like in the newspaper and you see a homeowner who's been scammed, it feels like it's almost always, you know, years after the fact, and the homeowner might not have even realized that they signed their deed away until years later, and now, you know, getting out of it is just even more challenging. And so, you know, this really has to be a situation where the best offense is a good defense. Like, how do we let homeowners know the best, these are the best ways to protect yourself and protect your home and protect your asset for your family? I think that, you know, so many, it's devastating to read from homeowners who, you know, lost this asset that they were planning on, you know, passing on to their children, and now they can't because they got into trouble and they trusted the wrong person. And these scammers are very sophisticated. You know, they operate within these community networks, so they don't necessarily set off a red flag as someone you shouldn't trust. Which is why I think it was so important when we were trying to come up with this program. We really wanted to make the call to folks that if you ever have a question, these are community groups that you should trust. You know, if you're in trouble, call one of these community groups. And again, all of this was kind of built off of the HOP network. None of this work would be possible without the framework that HOP creates. But to try to push more people to, you know, even if you're not in foreclosure yet, just call the hotline, talk to people, try to figure out what's going on. And if somebody's trying to sell you a bill of goods that sounds too good to be true, it's probably because it is. And, you know, we really need to be careful with our homes. That's really, it's a major asset. It's a, you know, it's the biggest asset for most families who are homeowners. And it's scary how easy it is, frankly, for scammers to kind of come in and take it away from homeowners. So I do think it was so important to work with groups and to really be strategic and think through how can we get out there differently. I think there was some really creative parts of the program. For example, I know that some of the partners partnered with when like the vaccine vans were going out and would be there to let people know. We knew that, you know, COVID was causing additional disruption in families' income. So how could we reach those families and try to identify, you know, where people might need help and get them to the help that they need. So Tamara, are there any from Queens or Brooklyn, are there any specific events or pieces of the program you would want to highlight?
Sure. I mean, like you said, as you mentioned, we participated in a number of tabling events in conjunction with the vaccination events that were established by, I think they were set up by HPD, which were great. There were like tons of people and so many homeowners and just in everybody in general, the communities were able to get information, take it home with them. And if they had any questions, they were free to reach out. The Queens Coalition had conducted a series of like webinars, deed theft webinars, property tax abatement webinars, and we also received requests from the communities on other issues such as, what to do after a homeowner passes. How can we keep the home within the family? So we created what's called like a legacy series. So working with the communities, we were really able to give some information that the community was seeking that we initially, did not think that we were going to include, but we changed it up a little bit to just go by what the community needs were, which were great. So you definitely would get more, as you mentioned, like previously this holistic change of like, services available for homeowners, which is really great. And I think one of the best accomplishments also from this project is the homeowner manual, which has the wealth of information. And if a homeowner needs like any type of resource or number to contact, they can just refer back to the homeowner manual.
I agree. I think the manual really what is kind of the showpiece that came out of this. And to the points we were discussing earlier, only exists in its form because of all of the partners in this program coming together. HPD is who put that manual together and printed it, and that was some of the really great work they did in this program, but it really wouldn't have been as complex and full without the continual conversations with the partners about what should be included, what do we need, what information do we need in the manual, and how homeowners are going to view the manual and what they need to get out of it. Not just basic information, but who should they contact when they have these questions, and breaking it up in the sections. I think it just came out in a way that's so perfect and so easy to use and to give to a homeowner in New York City and say, pretty much any question or problem you have, you can look into this manual and find the answer or find information about it, and at least get some information about who you could reach out to if you have additional questions. We're coming up on time, so I just want to kind of give some high-level numbers about the program, additional numbers about the success of the program. So through the program, there was over 1,400 wellness check surveys that were given to homeowners so that homeowners can identify the biggest problems and concerns they were facing. Through the campaign, the partners reached out to more than 35,000 homeowners to raise awareness about deed theft and scams. And the city helped us advertise in new ways. Like we said, HPD was instrumental with partnering on the vaccines, but also putting ads on buses and on the InfoLink kiosks. And I think, getting that information out there in different ways is always something that is needed. So if I haven't said it yet enough, I really want to thank all of the partners in the program, especially the neighborhood partners. We couldn't have done it without you. Thank you to the center, to HPD, to Enterprise Community Partners who manage the settlement funds that were used to fund this program. This was really such a great exercise, and I think could be a model of how we look at tackling these issues in the future and how we all work together on those issues.
Thank you everyone for joining us and learning more about the critically important services being delivered through Hub and Hub. When we are in collaboration and in close partnership, we succeed on behalf of our homeowners. I can't believe it's already time for the final session of this year's summit, Fireside Chat, the role of homeownership for a thriving neighborhood, with two very special guests. The final session will start at 3 p.m. So take a break from your computer screen, grab a snack, and head back to the main agenda page. Click on the link, Fireside Chat. See you there.